Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, October 13th, 2022, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. Everything is focused on each of us from within. Nothing outside of us is real. So when we go within, as we've been going into some deep areas of understanding who and what we are, and what we're doing in these bodies, and how to identify and address things about ourselves, and to seek out within the truths which all lie within us about everything, about relationships, about love. These things are, for some people, they're disturbing because they get fearful. Other people are open and are released and then begin to understand many things. So you can start to realize that the civilization is quite asleep, believe it or not. And each of us determine when we're going to go within. Now, going within means that you go within to discover who you are, what you are. That you know in a way that you're not the body, and then you know in a way that you are the God, the pure consciousness, the higher self, the soul, the spirit, however you want to label it. But there's a fear. And of course, the fear comes from the ego mind. So when you go within, when you go within and you have the ego mind, you're not within, because you start with the breath and you move into the now, and that takes you deeper within. And within the soul is the God, the pure consciousness. So you can see why so many of us live in an unknown. We don't know who and what we are. And we're afraid to discover how powerful we are. So we choose to be in an amnesia existence where we don't know who and what we are, and we're absorbed into the physical world. That's safe for many people. Now here's the kicker. When you leave the body, you then realize the reason you came into the body was to enjoy the body and enjoy the physical world that you created. But you didn't, because you were fearful and worried about actually discovering that and discovering who and what you are. That's one of the reasons we come into these bodies. When we come into the physicality of these bodies, we have an opportunity to learn about who and what we are. See? Do we know what we are when we are balls of light? Not really. Because you haven't identified if you did know that, right, you wouldn't enter the body, because you know you would be electrically hit and your memory would be gone. So you go into the body blindly because you have an idea what you want to do before you do go in the body, but yet you lose your memory. Okay? That's not natural. That is being done by other beings. And why they're doing it is because they got nothing else to do, quite frankly. And I know that sounds silly, but it's pretty true. So it's crucial. All of the things that we've been discussing in these meditations recently about love and like and what it means, and you understand that sooner or later, this civilization will come full circle, and it will understand what it's all about. That's what we're doing. We're discovering. Period. And even if one of this meditative group actually follows through and isn't afraid of discovering about love and like and all of these things, because you will continue to come back here for thousands of lifetimes in order to discover exactly that while you're in the body. what do these things actually mean? And it's all about you. It isn't about anybody else. It's about you. That's how it works. And most of us, I would say just about 99% of us, 99.99%, we're all seeking happiness. Seeking happiness outside of us. When all along it's been within us. And it never goes anywhere. If you act happy, feel happy, be happy without a reason in the world, then you can love and do what you will. Dan Millman. And that's very true. How can you tell? How do you know that? Well, you know that when you are happy. Many of us are spending our lives fighting negativity, striving to attain a better life, which we believe will one day make us feel deeply happy. We can find ourselves addicted to the pursuit of some future happiness, of manifesting a higher vision and fantasy of what may come, instead of actually enjoying being happy and living in gratitude all the time. And then ego mind kicks in and says, well, that's not possible. You can't do that. You can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? You can't be happy and live in gratitude all the time. That's not realistic. That's the ego mind, and that's the social structure of the planet in many places. There are as many distractions inside of us as there are on the outside. And they are all excuses which say it's not possible to feel spiritually complete and infinitely happy right now. It's not possible. To feel spiritually complete and infinitely happy right now. And you will discover, if you haven't yet, that along this life's journey to becoming truly happy is seeing how this elusive happiness is not something far away at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Happiness is a choice that is available to us to attain in each new moment. Happiness is a conscious choice, not an automatic response. Mildred Barthel. Now, when the understanding sinks in that your innermost happiness is not based upon anything in the outer world, you have started and ended your spiritual journey towards liberation. No matter how people treat you, talk to you, behave around you in life, this life, you always have the choice how you want to respond. You don't have to resist, defend, and protect your ego from anything. But many of us do. We can simply sit back, observe, and be free from it all. The ego loves to wallow in sadness, resentment, negativity, and pain because these things make it more real and give it substance. Without any source of negativity to push against, the ego has no choice but to completely dissolve. Without any source of negativity to push against, the ego has no choice but to dissolve completely. When there is nothing to fight or resist, then our egos have no purpose and cause. When we are free from the demanding, controlling ego, we can choose to momentarily feel any negative feelings and then move on to joy and appreciation, because we understand every experience in this life is simply a choice. Every experience in this life is simply a choice. made by you, by all of us. We choose how we want to experience everything in this life. Our inner world is a reflection of our outer world. However we respond to those difficult people in our outer world is always an internal decision. Once we can embrace and accept every single unhappy, unsatisfying, and emotionally challenging aspect within ourselves, then we can always respond with love, compassion, and we will truly be free. Our internal response to this life ultimately impacts how we feel about ourselves. If we are always responding to others in forms of control, criticism, correction, and lacking compassion, when we are all alone and by ourselves, sitting just with our own thoughts, we are not going to feel very good about ourselves. The mind is in a perpetual play of responses to people, situations, and events in our lives. Why not choose the response that opens the doors towards feelings of gratitude, expansion, serenity, and jubilation? It's a choice. And you can make the decision right now. Make the decision right now that nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop you from choosing joy, appreciation, and gratitude in any moment. There is nothing more powerful than you remembering that this is your choice. When you accept this, you'll discover a deep state of freedom inside you. And this freedom is continuously emanating from the very core of your being, the pure consciousness, the deep eternal love, the God, the spirit, the soul, the higher self. All the greatest, and isn't it interesting that all the greatest treasures are hidden behind that which we wouldn't want to be with. Pamela Wilson. Creating a permanent state of happiness is possible. Permanent state. Yet can only happen when the ego is not around to interfere. We first need to feel safe, protected, and okay with our vulnerability before we can attempt to be at peace with ourselves. By first discovering a sensation of spaciousness or lightness inside, we find some distance from the ego mind. This is the first great secret to becoming unstoppably happy. The reason is because this spacious feeling cultivates a heightened state of awareness of our thoughts. The more awareness we have, the more we are conscious of each thought passing by, and the easier it is to step on the train, which is always arriving in the land of appreciation and the town of Blissville. Greater awareness happens by slowing down in our lives. By slowing down in our lives, great awareness happens. So we can actually witness the thoughts that pass through our mind at lightning speeds. It is the wandering mind that is always taking you down the paths of despair and self-pity. When you see that you are simply the watcher behind it, you are free from any thought patterns that float by. Now, we must choose to cultivate our minds and the mind that will support you in slowing down and clearly seeing the thoughts that create your emotional states. This happens through the practice of being centered. This means you develop the ability to be quiet, calm, and serene. Listening to the thoughts without buying into them. This is the only way to penetrate the deep-seated chaos of the mind and remain unshaken by any thoughts that arise. The more you look inside towards who you truly are, the easier it becomes to discover the eternal joy that is your nature. We tend to forget that happiness doesn't come as a result of getting something we don't have, but rather of recognizing and appreciating what we do have. Frederick Cohen. The feelings of joy and love can be cultivated to arise more frequently by focusing on what we are currently thankful for in our lives right now. In each moment, there is a plethora of things for which to be grateful. From 10,000 miles up in outer space, you can easily see how we are all deeply, eternally loved into living on this awesome, beautiful planet. Yet there are always two sides to every coin. In any given situation, we are given the choice to feel deeply and eternally loved, and we can also focus on what is not working and see things in a negative light. In each moment, there always exists at least two choices. A person may miss their bus to work one day and can either focus on being late for work or refocus on the beauty of the morning and how they get to enjoy the sunshine for a few more minutes until the next bus comes. You can, let's say, like the other day I was in, they're repaving roads, so I was in traffic. Not like a city, but of course you were held up because of the paving. Now it's a choice. You can say, I'm deeply grateful that they are paving, so I've been able to stop and see the beautiful changing colors of the trees and the sunshine and the breeze. And that's what I did. Rather than, be in a hurry, pushing things, frustrated, irritated, and angry because you're stuck there. See? So we do have two choices. It simply boils down to, when life hands us lemons, do we make lemonade or just suck on the lemon with sour, puckering lips? Our reality is always a conscious choice. Learn to know yourself more deeply. That's what this is about. Learn to know yourself, all of us. Understand what it takes to remember that in every situation, your happiness is a choice that is always available to you. The feeling of joy can be accessed instantly. When we have enough substantial hours practicing self-acceptance, self-appreciation, and self-approval. These are the 3 A+ secrets to living in a state of inner peace. It is possible in this now moment to accept, approve, and appreciate yourself exactly as you are. And when you can totally accept, approve, and appreciate your entire life, exactly as it is, then you will truly be free. A happy person is not a person in a certain set of circumstances, but rather a person with a certain set of attitudes who does. For all of us on this planet, it's time to stop waiting for happiness. It's time to stop waiting for happiness to find us and choose to find the roses hidden in our inner gardens. At our very core is an eternal rose bush blooming, radiating its beauty and fragrances for all to enjoy. Being in touch with the core of your being is pure happiness. And it naturally arises from within when you are relaxed. Nothing has to happen for happiness to continue to flow. This happiness is here now, because this divine creation inside of you is always rejoicing in its divine aliveness, whether you are aware of it or not. This happiness is here now, because this divine creation inside of us is always rejoicing in its divine aliveness, whether any of us are aware of it or not. Every moment when we wake up, quietly say to yourself, just for today, I'm deciding to be grateful and happy for what is, no matter what it is. I'm deciding to be grateful and happy for what is, no matter what it is. Proclaim to the universe that you have the power to be unstoppably happy, and nobody can take this away from you. The moment you wake up every morning, decide that you are free. You are free to be miserable and free to be grateful, no matter what comes your way. This proclamation will create a powerful energetic shield and will protect and liberate you from any negative thinking. And this is a discovery to being uncontrollably happy. Now, if ever your negative inner commentary starts to flare up and daggers of negative thoughts are constantly directed your way, you can imagine deflecting them with a bright white light, actually disintegrating it. Imagine you have the most amazing negativity shield that cannot allow any negative thoughts to enter. See those negative thoughts bouncing off your awareness, leaving your consciousness completely untouched. Choosing to operate from this lighter place of kindness and gentleness with yourself instantly creates a foundation for more happiness to enter you. It's all about being vigilant of these negative thoughts, understanding that each one is coming from outside of you. Even though thoughts may feel like they're coming from your innermost world, I guarantee you they're not. Everything exists on the outside, on the periphery of consciousness. Pure, untainted awareness is always at the very center. Knowing this, no negative voice in your mind can drag you into an emotional dumpster. Negativity is a gift that has been given to us to make us grow. It's really that simple. Negativity is a gift that has been given to us to make us grow. When we realize that negative voice in our heads was actually adopted, or energetically inherited from someone in your distant past. When you realize that negative voice in your head was actually adopted, or energetically inherited from someone else, someone in your distant past, then you can choose to believe it, right? You can believe it is not you. It's not you. These negative thoughts are not your thoughts. All thoughts are borrowed, inherited from others along the way. Sure, they may seem like yours because you've repeated them thousands of times. And yes, if you trace them back to the original source, you'll see that they were probably from your mom, your dad, or some other relative. We were all born as purest beings of the highest light and love. We are completely innocent angels at the very core. The negative thoughts that were inherited always come from other people who we have met in this life or even in past lives. Perhaps they were caught in a perpetual depressing situation, fighting their own emotional anxiety, and then dispelled their negative words that you knowingly heard all throughout your childhood. Your negative thinking patterns are not yours, even though you have to be responsible for the ones you've inherited and perpetually repeat in your own brain now. Your freedom boils down to realizing that you are innocent and truly divine. You are more pure than the cleanest water at your very core. The best response to all this negative programming that you've received is compassion and gratitude. Now, we all can be thankful for this negative voice because it allows us to have empathy for others who constantly battle with their pain. Yet, we must always remember that the truth, that this negativity is not ours. We must always remember the truth that this negativity is not ours. It was only given to us as a gift so we could understand this world of duality. Lightness and joy would not have such divine qualities unless you knew what darkness and devastation were like as well. Would we? We wouldn't. It is only the state of pure, unadulterated, untainted awareness that can liberate us. This awareness allows us to relax deeper into the core of our being, where the source of our divinity, where pure love and positive creativity abides. There is nothing more precious in this world than this realization. This awareness allows us to relax deeper into the core of our being, where the source of our divinity, where pure love and positive creativity abides. And there is nothing more precious in this world than this realization. A clear, joyful state of mind is sacred. As we dedicate our lives to keeping them healthy, happy, loving, and free, it will protect us in return. Keep your heart and mind free from any negativity that wants to stick to your pure awareness by not giving it any attention. Acknowledge that the negativity is there to present dualist perspective, yet ignore any identification with the negative source. Practice this simple procedure. With all your negative thoughts, you will magically see them all fade away. Sit and rest safely in the source of pure awareness. This is our invincible happiness shield. The more we practice this, the more obvious it becomes that our happiness is not at the mercy of our environment or other people's states of mind. We always have the power to create any experience in this life that we desire. The choice is always yours, where to direct your attention. Aim it on an unstoppable source of happiness, and you will experience just how powerful you really are. Be a dynamo of irrepressible joy about it. Set the intention right now that the moment you wake up tomorrow morning, before you start your day, you will remember this message. Remember the secret to being unstoppably happy. Practice being happy no matter what happens all day long. This is your mission. And if you decide to take it on, it will push you so deep inside yourself that you will find a permanent state of joy at the core. Yet, after you proclaim this choice, gently remind yourself as you go through the day that you are committed to being unstoppably happy. Practice vigilance with your thoughts, and you will naturally see how easy it is to choose happiness over any negative thinking. It is always up to you. You have the power inside you to make those decisions that will make today the happiest day of your life. Now, a question for everyone. Ask yourselves, what is the difference between liking and loving? To like and to love. And also, what is the difference between ordinary love and spiritual love? Now, there is a great difference between liking and loving. Liking has no commitment in it, right? Loving is commitment. That's why people don't talk much about love. In fact, people have started talking about love in such contexts where no commitment is needed. For example, somebody says, I love ice cream. Now, how can you love ice cream? You can like it. You cannot love it. And somebody says, I love my dog. I love my car. I love this and that. In fact, people are very, very afraid of saying to a person, I love you. You ever notice that? How many people, maybe even you at times, where someone says they love you, right? And some people say it back at you, or same to you, but they won't say, I love you too. It's not comfortable, right? You ever been in that position? A man was dating a girl for months, right? For months. This girl and this guy were together. And the girl was, of course, waiting. They were even making love, but the man had not said to her, I love you. You ever been in that position? Just see the difference. In the ancient days, people used to fall in love. Now people make love. Do you see the difference? Falling in love is being overwhelmed by love. It is passive. Making love is almost profane, almost destroying its beauty. It is active, right? As if you're doing something. You are manipulating, controlling. Now, people have changed the language. Rather than using falling in love, they use making love. And the man was making love to the woman, but he had not said a single time, I love you. And the woman was waiting and waiting and waiting. One day he phoned and he said, I have been thinking and thinking and thinking to say it to you. It seems now's the time, for it has come. I have to say it now. I cannot contain it anymore. And the woman was thrilled, and she became all ears. For this she was waiting. And she said to him, say it, say it, say it. And the man said, I have to say it. Now I cannot contain it anymore. I really like you so much. People are saying to each other, I like you. Why don't they say I love you? Because love is commitment, involvement, risk, responsibility. Liking is just momentarily. I can like you, and I may not like you tomorrow, and there's no risk in it, right? When you say to a person, I love you, you take a risk. You are saying, I love you. I will remain loving you. I will love you tomorrow too. You can depend on me. This is a promise. Love is a promise. Liking has nothing to do with any promise. When you say to a man, I like you, you say something about you, not about the man. You say, this is how I am. I like you. I like ice cream too. I like my car too. In the same way, I like you. You're saying something about you. Now, when you say to a person, I love you, you are saying something about the person, not about you. You are saying you are lovely. The arrow is pointing to the other person, and then there is danger. You are giving a promise. Love has the quality of promise in it, and commitment, and involvement. And love has something of eternity in it. Liking is momentary. Liking is it's not risky. It's non-risky, non-responsible. You ask me, what is the difference between liking and loving, right? And I get this a lot. And also, what is the difference between ordinary love and spiritual love? Liking and loving are different, but there is not a difference between ordinary love and spiritual love. Love is spiritual. I don't think I've ever come across ordinary love. The ordinary thing is liking. Love is never ordinary. Can't be. It is intrinsically extraordinary. It is not of this world. When you say to a woman or a man, I love you, you are simply saying, I cannot be deceived by your body. I have seen you. Your body may become old, but I have seen you. The bodiless you. I have seen your innermost core, the core that is divine. Liking is superficial. Love penetrates and goes to the very core of the person, touches the very soul of the person. No love is ordinary. Love cannot be ordinary. Otherwise, it is not love. To call love ordinary is to misunderstand the whole phenomenon of love. Love is never ordinary. Love is always extraordinary, always spiritual. That is the difference between liking and love. Liking is material. Love is spiritual. When one says love is commitment, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that you have to promise for tomorrow, but the person is there. The promise is there. You don't have to promise, but the promise is there. This is the complexity and the subtleness of it. You don't say, I will love you tomorrow too. But in the moment of love, that promise is there, utterly present. It needs no expression. When you love a person, you can't imagine otherwise. You can't think that you will not love this person someday. This is the impossible. That is not part of love. And I'm not saying that you will not be able to get out of this love affair. You may be, you may not be. That is not the point. But when you are in the love moment, when the energy is flowing between two persons, there is a bridge. There is a golden bridge. And they are bridged through it. It simply does not happen. The mind cannot conceive and comprehend that there will be a time when you will not be with this person and this person will not be with you. This is commitment. Not that you say as much or that you go to a court and make a formal statement, I will remain forever with you. In fact, to make that formal statement simply shows there is no love. You need a legal arrangement if the commitment is there. There is no need for any legal arrangement. Marriage is needed because love is missing. If love is there profoundly, marriage will not be needed. What is the point of marriage? That's like putting legs on a snake or painting a red rose red. It is unnecessary. Why go to the court? There must be some fear inside you that the love is not total. Even while in deep love, you are thinking of the possibility that tomorrow you may desert this woman. The woman is thinking, who knows? Tomorrow this man may desert me. It is better to go to the court, right? First, let it become legal. Then one can be certain. But one does it. What does it show? It simply shows that love is not total. Otherwise, total love has that quality of commitment on its own accord. Commitment does not have to be brought to it. It is its intrinsic quality. And when you are in love, it comes naturally to you. Not that you plan. This feeling comes naturally and sometimes in words too. I will love you forever. This is this moment's depth. Doesn't say anything about tomorrow. And remember, it is not a promise. It is just that the depth and the totality of love is such that it comes automatically to you to say, I will love you forever and ever and ever. Even death will not be able to part us. This is the feeling of total love. This is where the civilization, right in this now, slowly but surely is beginning to understand that all the things that have been created outside of us have been created by other people's thoughts, which we have inherited. And this
contract, this marriage that we have a lot of us have participated in, won't exist. Won't exist. Marriage won't exist.
There won't be contracts. There'll be love. Lots of that. But there won't be contracts. But it's learning about. It's learning about love. It's learning so that we understand love. Love is a mystery. When it is there, everything looks heavenly. When it is gone, everything looks simply stale, meaningless. You've heard this term, right? It goes both ways, but you could not have lived without this woman or man. Now you cannot live without this one. You cannot live with this woman or man. You could not live without this person. Now you can't live with this person. And both of these are authentic states. You may ask yourself, and you might be confused when you look at the difference between love and liking. And you look at love, which is committed, and then you say, well, aren't commitments another kind of attachment? There's two versions of commitment. Meanings, okay? Here's the difference. One meaning is legal. The other is not legal. And when someone describes to you the quality of love, what happens when you are encompassed in it? The commitment happens. Commitment does not create love. Love creates it. Love is first. Commitment follows it. If one day love disappears, that commitment will also disappear. It was the shadow. When love is gone, don't talk about commitment. Then you are being foolish. It was a shadow of love. It always comes with love. And if love is no more, it goes. It disappears. You don't go on harping on that commitment. What about the commitment? There is no commitment if love is not there. Love is commitment. Love gone, all commitment is gone. When love is gone, what about commitment? You want the commitment to continue when the love is gone and love is no more. That version of commitment is legal. Always remember, when you're listening to yourself within, try to follow the meaning. It is difficult, but you have to try. Do it. And that very doing, you will get out of your meanings. Slowly, 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 a window will open and you will be able to see what I mean. Otherwise, there is going to be confusion. See, we've kind of gone along through lifetimes. And those lifetimes are other people's thoughts. and it's choice. Once you discover it, remember, that's half of the understanding. Once you identify that, then you say to yourself, how do I create my own thoughts? Well, you start by the now. That's where you make little tiny baby steps. You start by being in the now. Everyone that comes to these meditations globally and off-world know that if it is to be, it is up to thee. But knowing this, the knowledge is power. The ignorance is evil. So when you have the knowledge, and you're not upset about it, you're not irritated about it, you're not angry at yourself about it, none of that. You're very gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself. And you're in deep gratitude. But you identify as the watcher. Wow, all these thoughts. Look at them all. Billions of thoughts flying by you, mind chatter, other people's thoughts that you've inherited. So then you go within, and you practice being in the now, staying in the now through the breath, and you focus on deep gratitude 24/7, and you're gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself 24/7. When you do this, you begin to move more and more into the God that you are in that body. And as you do that, you discover things about the God that you are. Now, you see a bunch of people, right? And you see this big area on the ground, and you see all these puddles, right? Remember as a kid, you like jumping in the puddle, splashing it around everything. And you remember that. And so you see all these people splashing and jumping in the puddles. And as the watcher, you look and say, I did that. But now I'm watching everyone else do that without judgment. And you watch the ego. And you watch the mind. And by practicing being in the now, you will get to the stage where the ego won't exist. Now, you know it's an illusion, right? Imagine what that would be like when the ego doesn't exist. You won't need to protect it. You will not need to defend it. You will not become angry. You will not feel offended. You won't have the guilt. These are all ego-generated frequencies. You won't have the undeserving. You won't have the worry. You won't have the stress. You won't have the fear. Boy, that's quite motivational, isn't it? I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out the mouth. Be still. All day today. Practice holding your focus on what you want. And remain fixed on the idea of it for at least 60 seconds in a row. See if you can actually do this. Total focus on whatever it is you want for a complete 60 seconds in a row. The ability to maintain your focus on one thing is what makes you a shepherd instead of one of the sheep. This world offers itself for you to enjoy freely when you are able to control your mind. You can create anything you set and hold your mind steadfast upon. Remember to breathe and gently ask your mind to relax and be still. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We'll return here Friday, October 14th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call. Be good to yourselves.